Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. You guys may have noticed I'm wearing my Slagle Family Reunion 1993 hat today. What a reunion that was. Excellent. I can remember my great uncle Herbert was there, and great uncle Herbert always used to say, if you're drawing an assembly, make sure you include a detailed drawing file with your assembly documents. Good old Uncle Herbert, he always knew the right thing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be passing off some Slagle family wisdom. Long line of engineers in the Slagle family. Um, Fortunately, I'm not one of them. Here we go. Let's go. We're going to go on um, to drawing and creating drawing files. So we have this beautiful progression starting to unfold of communicating our ideas with CAD. And one of those, you start by drawing parts, then you assemble them together into this beautiful um, moving drawing like we have here. But then you want to be able to take this moving drawing and you want someone to be able to manufacture it. The whole idea, why are we doing this? We want to be able to, communicate our ideas so that these parts and pieces can be manufactured and assembled. So ultimately, what you want to be able to do is create something that looks like this. Okay, we want to be able to create something that looks like this. We can communicate our ideas. Sometimes you would put things on multiple pages. So I'm going to go how to create. Today we're going to go over how to create drawing files in Onshape. And I'm going to go over each of the different views that you might want to use. So let's go ahead and get started. So question number one, how do you create a drawing file? It's very simple. Let me turn off my face here. Now if you look down at the bottom left hand corner, you'll see this little plus button. I'm going to insert a new element and I'm going to insert create drawing. So a box is going to pop up and you get to choose the drawing format that you want. Ours was created in millimeters, so what you really should use is probably this millimeter drawing. I'm going to start with no views so that we can generate the views manually. But I'm gonna kind of make a mistake here. Let's say you accidentally choose inches. I'm gonna do that so I can show you how to change between those. So normally I'd choose millimeters because we drew our part in millimeters. I'm gonna choose inches for this. And then I'm going to change back to millimeters once we get in our drawing. So I'm going to create a new drawing. It's going to be blank. It's in ANSI, A-N-S-I format. And you'll see a new tab pop up here at the bottom of the screen that says drawing 3. And it's going to be blank and we're going to be starting over. So throw my face back on there. And here we go. All right, it's creating a new document. Taking its sweet old time. Let me just pause it till it's ready. All right, we are good to go. So let's go ahead and get started by drawing our document. Now it's a blank sheet of paper. So the first thing you want to do, the first button that seems usable here is this button that says Insert. Now when you press Insert, it's going to give you a lot of options. Whoops. Try that again. When you press insert, this little insert button, you can insert individual parts, as you can see down here. You can insert individual sketches. Like if I hit the drop down menu, I can grab this, or I can select an individual sketch from that part. You can drag that in if you think that's useful. You can also insert entire assemblies, and that's actually what I'm going to start off with. So I'm going to grab the whole piston assembly, and I'm going to bring that in. Now, the default view is the front view, and it's at this time that you get to choose the scale of your drawing. So you can say what the default view is that you want to record, and then you can choose the scale. So the smaller you make the second number, the larger the picture is. So 1:1 means it is the actual size of the object, which we probably don't want. So we'll go with 1:3, and then I'll show you how to go from here. All right, so I'm going to put my front view of my assembly right here. And then when you click once, you'll see a wheel, and then you get to put a secondary view. And you can choose which direction. If you drag to the right, it gives you the right view. If you drag to the left, it gives you the left view. If you drag up, now I've not done my second click yet, it gives you the top view. If you drag down, it gives you the bottom view, so on and so forth. Okay, and if you drag diagonally, it gives you that isometric view that you are looking for. So you can place that isometric view wherever you want. So I'll go ahead and place the isometric view, why the heck not? Now, once I've done that, you now have this projected view selected. And so what projected view is, it allows you to click on the object and choose other views. So you can click on there and then add your right view. You could click on there and add your top view. And then keep going, and what the heck, we'll do a couple little views here. That looks pretty nice. And let's do an isometric view from the bottom because I feel like it. Now, these views, I'm not going to put the left view in there for time-saving purposes. If you want to drag and reposition the drawings, you just press escape and go back to your cursor, and then you can shift this over. If I shift this over, you notice the top and bottom view are kind of aligned. If I shift it down, the right view shifts down. So you can kind of position all the drawings simultaneously. We get this nice view of our assembly. So great, that's what the projected view does. So the projected view allows you to get those kind of those basic views of the assembly going. Now what's really cool with the assembly and with this, you'll see this button that looks like a little arrow. You'll notice that my piston assembly, when I go into my assembly, it's angled that direction. I could take the assembly and move it to a different position like so. Now if I go back to my drawing, like I said, if I go back to my drawing, you'll see it's still over on the left-hand side. But you'll notice now this button is able to be pressed. So if you press Control Q or press this refresh button, it's going to reload those images and then position the parts in the drawing in the manner that you have them presented in the assembly. And it links them all together, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so that is the projected view. Let's go on and do some of the other views. Okay, so the most detailed part in this drawing is probably the piston. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to insert another image. So I'm going to press the insert button, but this time I'm going to press insert. I want to make this a little zoomed in. I'm going to go get the piston. Okay, we'll do the front view. I'm going to make it a little bigger, so let's maybe do 1 to 2. How's that? Oh, that's still pretty small. Let's do 1 to 1. Let's make it big. All right, so there's the piston. And I'm going to kind of be doing some weird views with this and kind of branching off so we can see some other views here. So I'm going to click the piston there. And we're going to use this as a guide for doing a couple other views and seeing what we've got going on here. So I'll do a view coming out this way maybe. Cool, and I might change some of these as we're going. Let's do auxiliary view next. So auxiliary view, I'm not actually super confident with this one, but basically it allows you to click on a line and then get some weird views that are kind of normal to the line that you clicked on. So if I come this way, or you can drag it up this way, and you'll get some views that are kind of attached to that, which is pretty exciting. So you can auxiliary view is like not isometric, and it's not one of the projected views. It's kind of a different view. So if you feel like doing an auxiliary view, that is something that you can add into your drawing. This one is really important. And actually, I'll delete this. This next one is so you can see inside of a selection, and it's called the section view. So I'm going to do a section view, and I want to see what it looks like on the inside of the piston. So maybe I'll click the section view here, and then you have to select which direction you want to view from, and those arrows will indicate that. So you can choose a section to cut. You could do a horizontal or a vertical cut, and these dashed regions are the regions that are that's part of the solid that's been filled in. So it kind of indicates that in our drawing, and then you can see that. If you want to drag this down so it's not in the way, you can right there. So here we have our section view. We are, and it says section A, and you can see that indicated with our cut right there. Okay, so that's the section view, and we're going to go into more detail here so we can see all these different details. What's next here? The broken out section view. All right, so how the broken out section view is like if you have an image that's already placed. So let's say, I'll just use one of these assembly pieces here. How the broken out section view works is you create, basically you use a spline to create a section like this, and then if you click on the profile, you can kind of drag and manipulate that to look however you want with the broken out section view. And I might be able to zoom in here so we can get a better look at what we're doing. And then it says the depth of the section cut. So if we're looking here, we want to know how far to go in with our section cut. So you're going to click on that, and then you really use one of the top or bottom views to gauge the depth that you want to cut. So you can click there, and we press OK, and then it'll generate just that section. It's going to remove that so that we can see that a little bit better when we do our cut. So you can see that here. It's pretty awesome. Okay, my favorite view addition is probably the detailed view, and how this works is you pick a center of a circle and you stretch that out like so. Like maybe I want to really show these measurements, and then it's going to zoom out and bring that center or that view down for us to add details later. So maybe I can put that right here so we can see it. It's kind of a zoomed in view of our drawing, which is pretty exciting, and that's indicated with the dashed lines. So again, to do that, you just click the detail view, you click the center of your circle, and you can stretch how large you want it to be. And I would like that kind of to be fairly centered, so I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to select this as the center. I don't know if I like that either. Try it one more time. We'll select that as the center. We'll come out like this. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. Bring it down like that. And then you can choose the scale of your detail view. You could do 3:1 if you want it really big. 2:1 seems fine for me. So I'll click that right there, and we've got this beautiful zoomed in view present in our document. Love it, love it, love it. Detailed view. The next is the break view. So I'm not really going to require you guys to do this. You can choose between horizontal and vertical, but basically what it is you take a section, you double click, and it's kind of break it apart so that you can see. Maybe you want to add some labels or look inside that drawing if you so choose. So if maybe you want to add some dimensions or something in there, that's the broken view. I don't foresee myself using that too terribly much, but it might be something useful. Okay, crop view is, let me add another view here, and I'll show you what crop view does. So I'll drag this down so we've got an image here, and maybe we'll do the top view. No, I don't really like that. Isometric? Whatever. Alright, I'm going to do the bottom view down here, and we're going to add a cropped image, and I might kind of shift some stuff around. And we'll drag this detailed view up, and we'll give ourselves a little bit more room. All right, so what the crop view does is allows us to do exactly what it describes. Crop out a section, so we're only looking at that section. So for example, I would draw, it's kind of similar to the section, section view. So you select this, and maybe I just want to show what's present in this cropped area, and that's what we can do. We have at liberty to do that. We press OK. It's similar to the broken out section view, so we press OK, and then it's only going to include that section of the image. If you only want to show a section, maybe don't want to show the whole thing, so that's pretty exciting. All right, I think we've got a good idea of how to use the different views I think it's looking pretty good so far. Let me just pause the video really fast and see if I missed anything, and then we'll reconvene here in just a sec. All right, I've consulted with my advisors, and I say I haven't missed anything yet, so that's good. All right, let's continue on, shall we? Just like Uncle Herbert always used to say, no detailed view is complete without a good amount of detailed dimensions. So that's what we're going to do next. Adding dimensions is actually very easy. There's a couple ways you could do it. You could add a sketch. You could go into Insert and add a sketch and just show the dimensions that are already there. Or maybe you just want to show some selected dimensions. So you can click on the Dimension tool here, and there's lots of different options for what you can select, but you just select the default Dimension tool. That should get the job done. You can click on the features that you want. And then you go, oh no, look at that. This is a problem. This is in inches, but I drew mine in millimeters. So if you want to change the default measurement, there's two ways to do it. You can two ways to change it. You can double click it and change it in here from inches to millimeters, but that only changes this one. If you want to change it for the whole document, you should go in and press this little wrench tool that's over on the right hand side. We're going to go up, change inches to millimeters, and I'm going to change the precision so you can say how accurate you want to be. So it says right now, it says 3.000. Well, everything in this drawing is to a whole millimeter, so I'm just going to say 0 decimal places to keep things simple for my drawing, and then I can close my options. And then I'm going to add a bunch of dimensions. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm clicking on, well, we might want to do the distance between this and this. So how wide is that section? You can drag the 2 where you want, so that's 2 wide. And then how about these little recesses? You can click in there and add the dimensions. And just go crazy. Go crazy. Add as many details as you think are necessary. So I might come up here and say, hey, that's 44 millimeters. From top to bottom, our piston is 52 millimeters. You can click on the circle to get the diameter. It's 10 millimeter diameter there present. And just go crazy. Add as much detail as you think you need. So let's see, I can click between here, get the radius of this. That's 16. Get the radius of that. It's 5. Yeah, so on and so forth. You can keep going in here. Go crazy. Get the height here. 47. So adding dimensions, and it doesn't just have to be on these part views. For example, you can go and click on the dimensions that are present in the drawing here and here, and make sure they are all as accurate as you want them to be. So that's how you add your dimensions to your drawing. And I can sit here and go crazy and add. I'm just having way too much fun. This should almost not be allowed on all the dimensions. And I really should include a bottom view here and not have it sectioned out like this, but that's okay. There is a more detailed view present for you guys to draw from anyway. So that's how you use each of these views. That's how you control the default measurements and default dimensions and views, and you can control that with the settings option here. I'm not going to go through all the settings. The other thing that's really cool is you have this option of controlling what's in your sheets and having multiple sheets for a document. So if you see right down here in the bottom, it says this is sheet 1 of 1. Well, what if I want 2 sheets? If you want 2 sheets, go up to the top and there's a little plus button up here. You can click on that plus button. It's going to add a new sheet, and then maybe in this sheet I want to put my some other parts. So I want to get more detailed on, for example, the crankshaft. So I'll get the crankshaft. I'm going to drag that in. We'll change the scale. Man, that's really small. Let's do scale 1:1, make it a little bit bigger, and I can include all these views on sheet 2. 6 views here. So maybe you have a second view for the crankshaft, and now you have multiple sheets, and to navigate between your sheets, you can click on the sheets labeled here. So if you double click there, it's going to take you back to your original one. If you double click back here, it's going to take you back to your second sheet for each part. And ideally, if you were doing this, you would have probably a sheet for each component present, but for this practice, you can just make one and make sure you have each of the views present in your sheet. And then you would go through on each part, add your dimensions, how long are each of these things, so on and so forth. So go crazy by adding dimensions, adding details. The other thing that you can do, go back to sheet 1, that's really nice is you can add little notes. So put a note right here. Let's say this is the piston itself or whatnot. So go through, add notes. You can write little paragraphs. You can change the size of the font. The possibilities are endless, and I think that this is one way to make sure your ideas are communicated effectively. Having as many detailed dimensions and any note to somebody that you would want to manufacture this part. And you'll notice down at the bottom now that I have 2 sheets, it'll say sheet 1 of 2, so that's an indicator that you're going to need more than one thing going on. And you're probably going to have to change the title of some of these as well. But that's not a huge deal for right now. All right. There you go. That's how you use drawing files in Onshape. Hope this video was informational, and I hope that Uncle Herbert is approving of your drawings. So work hard. I want you to draw like Uncle Herbert is watching over your shoulder. That's weird. Video over. Sorry.